Elisa here, coming at you with some real-world career advice. For those of you who don't know, I'm a product manager in the tech world, and I have made my fair share of career blunders. And I'm making these videos so that you don't have to go through quite as many career blunders as I did. Today we are talking about a really important career lesson that I have learned, and that is having skin like a rhinoceros. Figuratively, not literally. I don't think it's a really good idea to have skin like a rhinoceros. Be itchy and tough and not great. Anyway, I actually stole this phrase from a few different people. There's like 3 degrees of stealing here. I got it from a Conan O'Brien podcast, and on that podcast, Hillary Clinton was speaking, and she talked about having skin like a rhino, but then she actually admitted that she got skin like a rhino from Eleanor Roosevelt. So I'm getting it from Conan, who got it from Hillary, who got it from Eleanor Roosevelt. Anyhow, it's so important to have skin like a rhino in the workplace, but before we even move on any further, I've got to admit something to you. I have really thin skin, like really thin skin. My first couple years in the workplace, I cried probably once a week. Seriously. Now that's a lot more than other people. I think that's like standard deviations away from the average, but you get the point. A lot of times people's words could pierce me, and I started to learn that it's really problematic for my career for 2 main reasons. Now, the first reason this is problematic is because it can really affect how people perceive you in the workplace. If people see you crying or get defensive or flustered, they may start to question whether you have the right leadership skills in a professional environment. And this makes sense, right? Look to a politician. If a politician started crying in the middle of a heated debate, would you have confidence that they could lead our country in challenging situations? Maybe not. Maybe you'd be concerned that they'd get flustered or defensive or just lose kind of control. Same thing happens in the workplace. If you cry a lot in the workplace or get really reactive, people may start to question whether you have leadership potential. And that sucks. And it sucks especially for women because we are just more prone to crying in general. We have increased prolactin, we have smaller tear ducts, so on and so forth. There are some articles out there that do say that crying might not impact your career so much. So I'll link one of those articles below. You can read through that, see if you agree with me or if you think that article makes sense. But at the end of the day, my opinion is that crying in the workplace or letting things get to you really can have a really significant impact on your career trajectory and how people perceive you as a leader in your company. So that's one reason why it's important to have thick skin in the workplace. But the second reason, I'd argue, is even more important. So the second reason why it's important to have thick skin in the workplace is because at the end of the day, unless you're in a job where you're saving lives, work is work. It is a job. Your life does not revolve around your work. Your self-worth is not determined by how you perform at work. So it's important to make sure that you don't let people get to you and make you question your value as a person. So let me tell you a story. When I was a couple years in my career, I worked for this manager who was not great. He was a little bit manipulative, kind of mean. Anyway, I was really excited to have a check-in with him because I was going to ask him to take on some more senior responsibilities. I'd been doing a really good job at my work. I had delivered a lot of things in my product, and I thought I was ready to take on some more responsibility. So I went to his office and I told him that I was ready to take on more responsibility. And he looked at me and said,
"Yeah, I'm not sure that you're ready for more responsibility. A lot of people said they don't like working with you, and so I think you should work on that first."
What? I was so upset when he told me that. I turned red as a tomato, and I could feel the tears welling up, and I basically excused myself and ran to the bathroom. I cried for a long time, and worst of all, I let this affect me to my core. I started to question, does anybody like me? I was so upset because my manager said that someone doesn't like me. But at the end of the day, who cares? At work, people might not like you for a variety of reasons. Maybe you're kind of seen as a threat to them, or maybe they're having a bad day, or maybe your manager just doesn't have a promotion for you and is scrambling to think of reasons why he shouldn't promote you. Anyway, there's a lot of reasons why people will want to bring you down, and it's important not to let that get to you. So what do you do if someone tears you down at work? Well, for me, I always look for a role model. And in this particular video, I actually already mentioned who the role model is. It's not Conan O'Brien. It's not Eleanor Roosevelt. That's right. It's Hillary Clinton. Now, I know you may not like Hillary Clinton, but you've got to admit that she's got some really thick skin. I think it's probably thicker than a rhino's. Think about 2016 for Hillary Clinton. People literally thought she was part of this underground sex trafficking ring. They called it Pizzagate. Look it up. Even when she was first lady, people gave her a hard time for what her husband did when he was president. The list goes on and on. A lot of people hate Hillary Clinton, and you know what? She doesn't let it get to her. No, in fact, she seems really happy right now. She did a book tour with her daughter. She's starting up her own podcast. She's in a good place right now, and to be honest, what other choice does she have? Is she supposed to just be sad about the fact that people don't like her or that people don't trust her or think she has strong abilities? No. She knows who she is and she's comfortable with who she is and she keeps marching on and living her life. And frankly, that's what we all need to do. Sometimes I like to think about what Hillary Clinton would have done in my manager's office if my manager said that people didn't like her. Honestly, she'd probably respond with a laugh and she would probably say, yeah, no, Sherlock, and she'd move on. So, what do you do if you feel like you've got thin skin in the workplace and like someone's words or actions are going to pierce through you? Here's a couple of actions that you can take. First of all, breathe in and breathe out. I promise you, that helps a lot. If someone gives you a nasty remark, take a deep breath. If you have to, go to the bathroom, do some deep breaths. Sometimes I whip out my Calm app and do a meditation. They've got some great meditations about work stress. Highly recommend those. And just center yourself. Remember the context of the situation. Work is work. You're gonna be okay. Second thing you can do is think about the root cause of the situation. Did someone criticize your performance because you actually didn't do that great of a job? Think about it. Because that could be what happened. We're all going through like a 40-year career. In your first few years in the workplace, you're not going to be great. It's also important to think about the root cause because when you really think about it, you can start to see that a lot of times people say things maybe just to tear you down so that they can build themselves up. Or maybe they just are having a crappy day and that's okay. Especially in pandemic times, people are having crappy days. Trust me. The third thing that everyone should do when you feel really frustrated or pissed off at work and someone makes you angry, just channel your cheesy inner Taylor Swift self and shake it off. I promise you, your job is just a job and it shouldn't affect how you feel about yourself as a person. It shouldn't determine your worth. It should never affect your relationships outside of work. So that is the most important career advice that I can give you. I swear it saved me so much, not just in my career, but in my personal well-being. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you liked this video, please press that thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And if you want to hear more content, please subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for listening and enjoy the rest of your day or night or afternoon tea or brunch or whatever you're doing. Bye.